Hello everyone, we were discussing about the methods of psychological enquiry and we discussed observational method, experimental method, correlational research, survey research, psychological testing, and here in this video we will discuss the last method, that is case study, and we will also discuss the analysis of data in this video. Let us start with the method case study. As the name suggests, it is the study of a particular case. It can be of an individual or a group with same background. We can study, make study on a single person who is very normal, who doesn't have any problems. We can take him as an inspiration and we can study him. And we can study a case which is very unique. For example, I can study about three creative writers, the commonality among them, and can study about two players, etc. So, that is case study. We study on a particular case, can be individual, it can be a group. So, studies a particular case can be individual or group with same background. Group, it can be a community or a tribe, etc. And next point is, we can use multiple methods to complete this study. So in case study, we can use observational method, interview method, or survey research. So we can use multiple methods in case study. Okay, use of multiple methods. To complete this case study, we can use multiple methods: observational method, survey, interview method, psychological testing, etc. Now, in case study, we understand the mind and behavior of individuals, and it gives a narrative and descriptive information about the mental processes and how is it similar, and what is the individual differences. So, about all these things we understand in case study. So, case study is done to understand a person's mind and behavior, and it gives a narrative and descriptive info. Okay, so we get a detailed description or narrative information in this case study, and we do in case study we get or we study the in-depth, we do the in-depth study of a unit. So we said it can be individual or group, we say it unit in case study. So in case study we do an in-depth study of a unit. The problem of case study is generalization. So we cannot generalize everything that we research on. It belongs to a particular individual or group of people. So the validity of a single cannot be generalized. So generalization is the problem of case study. Okay. So, in case study, it studies a particular case. It can be of individual and a group of or with a group with the same background, and then we can use multiple methods in case study: observational, survey, then psychological testing, etc. And to understand, here in case study we try to understand a person's mind and behavior and the mental processes of a particular person, and it provides a narrative and detailed descriptive information. Again, in case study we do in-depth study of a unit. Then the problem of case study is generalization. We cannot generalize everything that we research on. Okay, so that is all about case study. Understood? Now, let us discuss analysis of data. Okay, so till now we were discussing about the different methods, important methods in psychological inquiry, the methods the researchers use to gain information, to collect the information: observational method, experimental method, correlational research, survey research, psychological testing, and last we studied case study also, right? So we gained many information. So what is the next step? After gaining the information, we have to draw conclusions, right? That is the next step which a researcher has to be taken, draw conclusions. So for this it requires analysis of data. To draw conclusion, we need to analyze the data. So to analyze the data, the psychologists use two methodologies, that are qualitative method and quantitative method. So two methodological approaches are used: qualitative method and quantitative method. Okay, so qualitative method includes what? Descriptive data, and quantitative method includes numbers. Here descriptive data. Okay, so asking about some experiences of a person. Okay, so he will describe, or that participant will describe his experience. We cannot convert this data into numbers or scores, right? So that will be in a descriptive form. That data will be in a descriptive form. We cannot compare to, we cannot change this form into, into numbers or scores. This descriptive data cannot change into numbers or scores. So it is in the form of stories, experiences, etc. So when we use the method structural unstructured interview and participant observation, the data will be in the form of description, right? And we cannot change this into numbers and scores. So, and the participants or the data recorded in the form of what? The participants on words, or the field into field notes of the researcher, or in the form of photograph, or in the form of recorded videos or taped audios or videos, etc. It will be in the form of these kinds, the descriptive data that we cannot change into what? Numbers or scores. So narrative analysis and the content analysis are the two methods where the psychologists developed for analyzing the data in a quantitative method. Which are they? Narrative analysis and content analysis. These are the two methods where psychologists developed to analyze the quantitative data, right? So, this is a descriptive data. In quantitative method, we analyze descriptive data, which is in the form of stories, experiments, experiences, etc. When we use the method participant observation or unstructured interviews, we get this descriptive form of data. So, these data we cannot change into scores and numbers. So, the psychologists developed the methods narrative analysis and content analysis for analyzing the data in quantitative method. Now, let us talk about qualitative method. In qualitative methods, the scores, the data will be in numbers, right? When we use the methods of structured interview, questionnaire or psychological testing, okay, in all these methods the questions are of which type? Closed ended questions, right? In closed ended questions the responses must have specified there, yes or no questions, true or false, or multiple choice questions, right? So, for each response a score is given. So, closed ended questions, responses are specified. Example, yes, no. Okay, these are the responses, right? Now, for yes, for the right answer we can give score 1, and for the wrong answer we can give 0, and like this we can give the scores, and at last we can find the grand total. Then we can calculate the score, and then we get an aggregate score. So, in doing so, the researcher converts the psychological attributes into a quantity, that is usually in numbers. Convert attributes to quantity, that is in numbers. Okay, the researcher converts the psychological attributes to quantity in quantitative method. So, for analyzing or comparing the scores, we can use statistical methods such as central tendency, mean, median, mode that you will study in detail later. So, now you just remember that we can use statistical methods here to compare the data. So, these are the two types or two methods of analyzing data, quantitative method and qualitative. Okay. Qualitative method and quantitative method. So, in qualitative method, the data is in descriptive manner, cannot change scores and numbers. Narrative analysis or content analysis is used to analyze the data. In qualitative methods, the scores will be in numbers. Since we are using closed ended questions here, the methods such as unstructured interview, then what? Psychological testing, again questionnaires. Here we use closed ended questions, and then the responses will be specified there. So, can give scores and can calculate the scores at the end of the experiment then what? We can get an aggregate score. And here in the quantitative method, the researcher convert the psychological attributes to quantity, and then we can use statistical methods to compare these scores. So, this is about analyzing data, quantitative method and qualitative method. Thank you.